Visits Ukraine, Russia accuses the West of provocation, and the government in Kiev says help is needed now to stop disaster at the Zaporizhzhia nuclear plant.
It's impossible to ensure the safety of the nuclear power plant while the Russian occupying forces are there. This is the key concern that we all need to clearly understand.
We hear about the latest twist in the FBI's search of Donald Trump's home in Florida. How a man accused of inciting the genocide in Rwanda ended up in court in The Hague, and why the Japanese government is relaxed about telling its citizens to drink more alcohol.
It seems perverse in the West when the goal is alcohol consumption. But in Japan, it doesn't seem so strange at all.
All to come after this news.
Hello, I'm Debbie Russ with the BBC News. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky has said the United Nations must ensure the security and demilitarization of the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant, which has been occupied by Russian forces. He was speaking following talks with the UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres in the Ukrainian city of Lviv. Hugo Batega is in Kiev.
Russia and Ukraine have traded accusations of shelling near the complex. The Ukrainians have accused the Russians of turning this facility into a military base, using it to launch attacks against Ukrainian towns, perhaps knowing that Ukrainian forces are unlikely to retaliate. The Russians deny those accusations. They say Russian troops are there protecting this facility. But this level of military activity around a nuclear complex has obviously raised fears of a catastrophe. And Mr. Guterres has in the past called for the creation of a demilitarized zone around this facility.
Mr. Zelensky has also held talks today with Turkey's leader, Recep Tayyip Erdogan. Discussions were also expected to centre on finding a political solution to the conflict in Ukraine and increasing Ukraine's grain exports. Finland's defence ministry says 2 Russian MiG-31 fighter jets are suspected of having violated Finnish airspace on Thursday morning near the coastal city of Porvoo. A spokesman said the warplanes were in Finnish airspace for 2 minutes and penetrated a depth of 1 kilometre. It comes as Russia's defence ministry announced that 3 such aircraft equipped with hypersonic missiles had been relocated to Russia's Kaliningrad region. New official figures say consumer prices in the Eurozone jumped by nearly 9% in July compared with a year ago, partly due to high energy costs caused by Russia's invasion of Ukraine. It's the highest inflation rate since the euro was created in 1999. The figure is also more than 4 times higher than the European Central Bank's inflation target of 2%. The Israeli army has sealed the offices of several prominent Palestinian human rights groups that Israel designated as linked to terrorist groups. Israeli troops seized property from the buildings of 7 organizations in the occupied West Bank, leaving notices that declared them illegal. From Jerusalem, here's Tom Bateman.
Israeli soldiers raided the offices at dawn, taking away paperwork and welding shut front doors. Last year, Israel designated 6 Palestinian rights organizations as terrorist groups, saying they were diverting funds to an outlawed militant faction. Israel provided no meaningful evidence for the claim, telling the BBC at the time its evidence was classified. The groups see the raids as an attempt to silence them, as some back international attempts to prosecute Israel for possible war crimes, while 9 European countries, including France and Germany, have said they will keep funding the organizations as Israel hasn't proved its claims.
BBC News. A former